TOEFL IBT Speaking 26, Aaron at speaking26.com. Okay, here's some advice. You guys are going to like this one. So the first thing is pretty quick. I've heard a lot of people say stress when it will behoove them to say emphasize instead. Here are two examples. Yeah, the teacher was stressing how important it is to practice the speaking questions daily, even if it's only a little bit. Daily is very important. Versus, yeah, the teacher was emphasizing how important it is to practice the speaking questions daily. Stress versus emphasize. Emphasize is better because when you say stress, the first thing that comes to my mind is not the synonym of emphasis. When you say stress, the first thing that comes to my mind is negative feelings, bad emotions, psychological difficulty. So say emphasize instead of stress, and never run the risk of somebody being confused or that get a higher score on language use. Say emphasize instead of stress to get your 26 on TOEFL IBT speaking faster. Okay, that was the first thing I wanted to tell you. Now here's the second thing. So many of you TOEFL test takers are not getting 26 because you treat my speaking section as if it's the writing section. Part of it is not your fault. Most of, if not all of, the other teachers and tutors tell you to overcomplicate it the way you should be in the writing section. The difference is in speaking, I want you to have more confidence, more speaking confidence, and more speaking flow, a good momentum. Unlike in the writing section where it's okay if I don't have a good flow, I can always hit delete, backspace, delete, and correct the sentence. I have more time to use big words and to try to sound smart. In speaking, I don't want your focus to be on those things because it hurts you. That's the difference between the writing section and the speaking section. Perhaps the other teachers are making this mistake because the two sections look so similar. Both have an independent question, both have at least one integrated question, but they are different sections. Therefore, our strategies should be different. So many of you guys, you're more focused on trying to sound smart during speaking instead of letting it come out naturally. You have the ability to score higher, but you, for years, have been told by teachers you haven't been corrected. Okay, here's an example of a pharmacist this week. She never ever says the word make, M-A-K-E. Never. On multiple different days, on very different question topics, instead of saying make, she will say generate. Her energy and focus goes towards always trying to use the biggest synonym instead of the ideas, instead of developing the topic and progressing the ideas. She's wasting brain power. We all have a limited amount of attention that we can focus on, that we can put our attention towards and focus on things. She's unfortunately putting a percentage of her attention towards trying to impress you and I with big words. It would be like if I told myself, hey, Aaron, don't ever say the word big, B-I-G. People won't think you're smart, Aaron. Instead, for the rest of your life, never use the word big. Instead, use the word humongous every time. If I did that, it would be pretentious and I would be hurting myself because it would be a false sense of satisfaction. It would be a false sense of satisfaction. I would think that I'm doing, you think that you're doing high scoring things. This is not the writing section. The highest scoring thing that you can be doing for yourself is to truly be fully confident. If you don't believe that you can truly be fully confident, okay, you should be doing things that move you as close as you possibly can be to truly being confident, instead of trying to trick people into thinking that your English is good by saying generate instead of make. Many of you are doing the exact same thing. You feel that you have to use a complex sentence. So it causes you to hesitate and have difficulty instead of letting it come out naturally and focusing on the ideas as the scoring rubrics say. Many years ago, I was working with another teacher, and I heard him teaching this young student a word that nobody uses. It was like the teacher turned the dictionary to one of the last pages and intentionally found a word that he doesn't use, that I don't use, that nobody ever uses. It's not useful. And what that teacher did is he taught that student that word, showed him how to spell it, gave him the definition and an example in a sentence. Later that day, the parents of that student were so happy. Wow, my son is an English genius. When the teacher came back to the room, I asked him, do you ever use that word? And he said, no. And I said, then why are you teaching it to him? And he said, because the parents love it. He was right that the parents love it, but he was wrong to be teaching that word that nobody uses. It's useless. The parents are not English teachers. It was his responsibility to give the student something that's going to help him for the rest of his life instead of something that's going to hurt him for the rest of his life. That student just got positive reinforcement, praise from something that's going to hurt him. If he continues to do that, focus on words that other people don't know, not because other people are dumb, but instead because that word is useless. The more that that student focuses on that, the less effective overall he is going to be, because he's going to be putting his energies and attitudes towards things that are less important. He's going to be focused on being pretentious instead of truly sharpening his skills, instead of truly increasing his confidence. You, test taker, who this video is for, not the teachers watching and learning from me, and not from the other people who aren't going to be taking the TOEFL who are learning from me. You TOEFL test takers who this video is for, remember what I said about the difference between the writing section and my speaking section. You want to have more real confidence? You want to have a better flow and momentum in your speaking answers? Stop trying to impress people. Save that for the writing section. In the speaking section, be natural, like I have been during this whole video. It's the speaking section. It's not the writing section. It's the speaking section. It's not the what does your face look like section. It's The speaking section. Use that to finish your TOEFL. And then tell me about it. Best of luck to all test takers. Good luck, everybody. Get your 26 on TOEFL iBT.